Well, given the statements that Ramesh Veduri has made, unless they remove him and send a message by his removal that this kind of rhetoric, this kind of language is not acceptable to the ruling party of India. Anything short of that, damage control, fine, that suits you. That sends no clear message to the women of India that their dignity matters to the political party. When I heard about it yesterday, I felt demeaned myself. That this kind of language should be used by mainland parties in the country. Decided to resign as chief minister and make Atishi the chief minister after he came out of jail was a very unexpected step. Was to move away from this image of the chief minister, the Sheesh Mahal, which has done him damage. And at one level, the Delhi leadership of the Congress would certainly like to gun for Arvind Kejriwal. And because they also see the larger implications of Kejriwal coming back to power. If he becomes a fourth time chief minister, then he will be seen by many people through a new lens. He will be seeing somebody who will in the future play a national role.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Controversial BJP leader Ramesh Biduri has sparked a backlash both within and outside the party after his recent offensive statements against Delhi Chief Minister Atishi Singh and Lok Sabha MP Priyanka Gandhi. Now, the back-to-back controversies have sparked a chatter within the BJP about the possibility of a woman candidate replacing him. And this is according to a few reports in the media which have come out, and these are all source based. And what we know from these reports is also the fact that BJP apparently has held two meetings over the weekend and early this week about the possibility of either shifting or cancelling Biduri's candidature. So this is as the BJP is concerned, but on the Aam Aadmi Party front as well, the BJP election scene is heating up. And today, Aam Aadmi Party has held a press conference. Saurabh Bharadwaj and Sanjay Singh were seen to be holding a press conference and telling the media that they want to take the media to 6 Flagstaff Road, where the official residence of the Chief Minister of Delhi is, and they want to go with the media to show where the golden commodes are, where that bar is, where the swimming pool is. So it's Sheesh Mahal versus Prime Minister's Raj Mahal. And as far as BJP is concerned, it seems to be on the back foot on Biduri. So what does the Delhi election look like currently, given the fact that the election has just been announced yesterday? The poll dates were announced. The model code of conduct has kicked up. But what does the Delhi scene look like? Joining me now is veteran journalist, political commentator and author Neerja Chaudhary with us this evening. Thank you so much, Neerja, for joining. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. But starting with Ramesh Biduri and the reports coming out that BJP either will shift him to some other constituency or might even cancel his candidature. Why do you think that the BJP is doing it, given the fact that he was already a candidate from Kalkaji, and now that BJP is trying to damage control?
Yeah. Well, given the statements that Ramesh Veduri has made, not just about Atishi Singh, who's the Chief Minister of Delhi, also about Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, uh, unless they remove him and send a message by his removal that this kind of rhetoric, this kind of language is not acceptable to the ruling party of India. Anything short of that, damage control, fine, that suits you. That sends no clear message to the women of India that their dignity matters to the political party. And that would go for all political parties. Now, to talk about who the father of Atishi is, to make snide remarks about that, her surname, and to say that the roads he wants to and the party wants to build, like on the cheeks of Priyanka Vadra Gandhi. I mean, surely you can say things in not such a undignified, derogatory way to women and leading women, to any woman in the country. When I heard about it yesterday, I feel I felt demeaned myself. That this kind of language should be used by mainland parties in the country. So there is bound, since Delhi is an urbanized area, it is bound to have a reaction from the women. And so they should do damage control if they want to win that seat. That, of course, is a minimum, but it has to be more than just damage control, keeping in mind only that seat of Kalkaji. This is where the BJP is on the mat today about its commitment to the women of the country. The Prime Minister has spoken about women-led development. Prime Minister's, the Ladki Bachao, what is it, Ladki Padhao, Ladki Bachao,
Beti Bachao, Beti
several.
Padhao.
Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, several big schemes which have been very useful and have been welcomed in the country. So to have women referred to in this fashion, in this day and age, 2025, to me, it's unacceptable. I don't know how other women are reacting. And I think being the ruling party, being the Prime Minister, the kind of language that he's spoken about, what he wants for the women, I think they'll have to do better than just damage control.
No, but Neerja, you said that they will have to do something more than the damage control. Now, still, it's not very clear. His ticket is going to be cancelled, whether his candidature will be cancelled. But what, according to you, should be the option before the BJP? Ramesh Biduri be thrown out completely out of the Delhi electoral scene for BJP? Should that be the message?
Yes, I think the BJP has to say that this kind of language is unacceptable to us in today's India. And the least that it has to do is to throw him out of the election this time.
Right. But do you think that supposing if he's shifted from Kalkaji and given some other seat, his comments will further damage BJP, because I'm sure on all the 70 seats of BJP, the urbanized population of Delhi, and especially the women, will not take this very lightly, and they would see every BJP candidate almost as a Ramesh Biduri.
If they just move him to another constituency, it means, okay, we are cornered in Kalkaji, and we will have a big tough fight as a result of this. And there's a woman candidate on the other side. So, let's wriggle out of a difficult situation, field him from somewhere else. But that doesn't show your commitment to the women of India, to the dignity of the women of India. Does that matter to you?
Right.
That is my question. I ask that question not just to the BJP. I will ask that question of every party today. This kind of reference and snide remarks and sexist remarks, bahut ho gaya.
Totally. No, and each time bringing in, the women, as whenever you refer to any infrastructure, whether it was Lalu Yadav in the yesteryears, or there are several other examples of that, whenever they don't have any analogy except for a woman to compare with the infrastructure development they are having in the country.
Yeah, to say the cheeks of women to say that roads are going to be smooth. It shows their lack of imagination, lack of hard work, how to put across, how to communicate. Surely there are better ways of doing this. They are very smart politicians, all of them. So somewhere I feel they do it deliberately and feel they'll get away with it. And
Right.
the party leaderships have to draw that line and say, no, you will not get away with it.
No, but we haven't heard anything from Prime Minister Modi. We've not heard anybody from the senior leadership of BJP speaking on this at all.
Absolutely, I agree with you. The same had happened in the case of the wrestlers, if you remember.
Yeah.
The way they were dragged on the streets, your award-winning wrestlers. You can disagree very vigorously on a political point of view. We don't argue, counter it with sharp arguments, but, demeaning women As I said, it diminishes all of us, these kind of remarks. It does nothing for us. And therefore, women should ask the question, why should we vote for them?
Absolutely. But
You're
coming,
giving what is called reveries by any party, whether it's Aam Aadmi Party, Congress, or the BJP, is one part of the story. Yes, it empowers women. It makes them economically autonomous. It makes them feel good. That's one part of the story. But women want more than that. You must understand that today.
absolutely.
They want the
And
due place under the sun.
true. Moving on now from this Ramesh Biduri controversy and coming to the actual Delhi electoral scene, this time, what do you feel about the 2024 Delhi elections? We have a Congress which is trying to claw back in the election scene. Aam Aadmi Party is trying for a third term. There's heavy anti-incumbency, and a BJP which has been struggling for the last almost 25 years and hasn't been in power. What do you think is going to be the scene like as far as Delhi elections 2024 is concerned, Nirja?
As of now, as of today, as you and I talk, it's a BJP versus Aam Aadmi Party. Aam Aadmi Party making a bid to come back to power. And in the recent elections, as we've seen, people of Delhi have tended to favor Narendra Modi-led BJP in the national elections. They have swept these elections the last two times that we have seen. But in the state assembly elections, they seem to favor Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party. Will this trend continue? Of course, there is that many 10 years of more than 10 years of anti-incumbency that the Aam Aadmi Party faces. Of course, Arvind Kejriwal has been in jail. His colleagues have been in jail. And they have also faced charges in the liquor scam, on corruption. And so it is not the Aam Aadmi Party when it was formed in just over again about 2012. So I think the party with the difference that no, it is like any other party, and yet the ordinary poorer sections, the Jhuggi Jhopri dwellers, still look to Aam Aadmi Party as a party that has delivered to them on issues that matter to them in their daily lives. And that is because of, we know, Bijli Pani, school, Mohalla clinic, free travel for women, and now he's again promised women 2,100 every month if the Aam Aadmi Party comes back to power. Other parties have also promised. Congress has upped that amount to 2,500 as a promise. But so they feel there is a credibility there that he's delivered, and people still favor him. But there are other sections of Delhi that are not so enamored with him at all. The middle classes don't view him the way they once did in 2015 when he got a whopping 67-seat majority out of 70 in Delhi Assembly. And then, of course, subsequently in 2020 when he got 62 seats. That's Kejriwal. And the BJP is better placed this time than it has been in the recent several elections. There's no doubt about that. Now, much will depend on how badly or well the Congress party does. If the Congress picks up votes, if the Congress starts to revive in Delhi, even, as I say, 7, 8, 9% of votes, then it is trouble for Kejriwal, because the Congress will cut into what is the vote that would otherwise go to the Aam Aadmi Party, which is the minorities, Dalits, and some other sections. If the Congress does not pick up, it doesn't take off at all, then Kejriwal, most people believe it may well be ahead of the BJP. It may not be the kind of majority he had in the last two elections. Now, I must say, Nilu, here that this is an evolving situation. What traction will the Biduri issue have? Not just in Kalkaji, but beyond that, will it reverberate? And as the election goes on, as we've seen in several elections in the past, new issues get thrown up and suddenly take off and become central to the whole narrative. Now, will that happen in Delhi also? But we are talking as we are today, in today's situation.
Right. But we've seen the Hindu card also, which is being played up by Aam Aadmi Party, where Arvind Kejriwal has promised an emolument of 18,000 to the Granthis and to the Hindu priests. He also wrote a letter recently to the RSS. Will this Hindu card of Arvind Kejriwal really work? On one hand, he's playing the Hindu card. On the other hand, he has these welfare schemes and given to the people. How much of it is really going to work on the electoral ground?
That we will know really on the 8th of February how much has it worked. But yes, this soft Hindu, what we call soft Hindu, pro-Hindu image. Earlier he played the Hanuman card. As Hanuman being the icon of the party, he went to the Hanuman temple in New Delhi and so on. So party at various times has played various cards. Yes, he's reached out to the Sikh community and the Hindus by saying the Granthis will be given 18,000 rupees. The priests, the Hindu priests will also be given that. So he's done similar, even Tirth Yatras free for older people that, he's put into place earlier. So his is a soft, not in any way coming across as anti-Hindu. That's one part of his proposed appeal. Other is welfareism. And third is the delivery man. What I promise, I deliver. So all those things are plus factors for him which have worked in the past. But where he is not succeeding is a new narrative. Delivery is fine. But Indian voter, being Indian voter, is, I keep saying, dil mange more. All the time, people want more and more, every election. So how much, some are committed voters, they'll stay with him, the poorer section. But how it will actually plan out, will it be a reduced majority? Suppose it's a reduced majority of just between 40 and 45 seats that he hits. His party will be in trouble because it's going to be, that means the BJP has done fairly well also. Then knowing the BJP, will they break the party, try and form government? Will it, it's too early to speculate, too premature to be talking like this. But I think his earlier image has lost some of its sheen, and yet he is trusted by the poorest sections of Delhi.
Right. But where do you see Congress as well in the Delhi electoral scene? Of course, Sandeep Dixit is there. Alpha Lamba has been fielded from Kalkaji. Congress is trying best, and as we have seen in Gujarat and in many states, where Aam Aadmi Party has tried to contest elections, eventually to damage Congress. Now, can Congress do the same to Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi?
Well, I think apart from Sandeep Dixit and, as you say, Kalamba in Kalkaji, the Congress has not come out, all guns blazing in the Delhi elections. Of course, to begin with, Sandeep Dixit gave the impression, by going and seeing the LG and taking on Aam Aadmi Party, and it seemed Aam Aadmi Party be number one for both the BJP as well as the Congress. And at one level, the Delhi leadership of the Congress would certainly like to gun for Arvind Kejriwal. And because they also see the larger implications of Kejriwal coming back to power. If he becomes a fourth time chief minister, then he will be seen by many people through a new lens. He will be seeing somebody who will in the future play a national role. It will also give an impetus to the regional parties within the opposition's India bloc. And, Mamta's claim to leadership of the India bloc may get an impetus. And all this may be to the Congress's disadvantage. Congress does know that. And therefore, there are sections that may want Kejriwal not to win in Delhi. On the other hand, if the BJP wins, and this is another Congress to take into account, then it will be after Haryana, after Maharashtra, then Mr. Narendra Modi is going great again nationally. It gives them huge advantage. After 25 years, they come back to power also in Delhi, defeating somebody like Arvind Kejriwal. Then it's a big feather in their cap also. So it has national implications. Initially, it seemed that the Congress party was going to damage Arvind Kejriwal, but now it seems they're holding back. So is there a revision of strategy at the that's not clear. I think the campaign in the coming hours and days will make that probably clearer.
Right. But what about leaders of the second rung in Aam Aadmi Party? I mean, do you see them fully invested? Because I mean, after Arvind Kejriwal went to jail, they were, there was a perception that the second rung leaders and the leaders at the lower level weren't doing too well. There were stories of how Aam Aadmi Party people are joining. BJP camp. So, how do you see these young leaders? Do they look like fully invested in the elections? As we see Arvind Kejriwal now also trying to go on a padyatra rather than doing road shows. And so the big question is that how would these second rung leaders contribute? And the second question to it is that is Arvind Kejriwal trying to reclaim a common man's image through padyatras and by interactions, going door to door, because a lot of it has been already said about the luxurious home and the Sheesh Mahal because the controversy is also doing. So do you think that he can claim that Aam Aadmi image, especially after the liquor scam and the Sheesh Mahal?
Yes,
It has come up.
I think the fact that he decided to resign as chief minister and make Atishi the chief minister after he came out of jail was a very unexpected step, was to move away from this image of the chief minister, the Sheesh Mahal, which has done him damage. There's no doubt about that. Now it's a good idea because there's so many question marks about Sheesh Mahal. It's a very good idea for the Aam Aadmi Party leadership to take a group of media people and say, please come and see that house on Flagstaff Road. See it for yourself. Let the controversy end once and forever. Whatever was there, everybody to see. So this thing of, as you say, golden commodes and all that, or other things, whatever he did in terms of renovation, will be before the country. The other thing, of course, is that as far as the leaders, the second-rung leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, how much are they invested? I think there is a renewed energy after Sisodia came out of jail and then Kejriwal himself came out of jail. And I do know even Manish Sisodia, soon after he came out of jail, undertook these padyatras. I remember tracking him in a couple of them myself to see what impact he was having. And at that time, Kejriwal was in, so there was huge sympathy for him. People felt that central government was deliberately keeping them in. They didn't want them to do things for people, and there was a huge lot of sympathy. But now that he's out, does the sympathy remain intact, or people want more? And but yes, I agree with that his undertaking door-to-door yatras, padyatras, going back to the people as an ordinary Aam Aadmi Party office bearer, but not the chief minister. It is to reinforce his image as the earlier image, at least to try and reinforce that. I'm there for you. I come to your door and I want to know what you want, and so on. That has been the unique selling point of the Aam Aadmi Party in the past, even though it's no longer a party with a difference. It's like any other party. But still, I think there is an element of energy of a new party. And I find it quite remarkable that in 12 years, a party like this, it's never happened in the history of post-independent India, should become a national party. It's come out of the womb of popular movement and gone on to, in such a short time, to become a national party in power in 2 states. But there are many challenges before it. It's not going to be easy. And if he loses, if they lose, then it could become an existentialist crisis for the Aam Aadmi Party, because then it will start to erode and break up, and there'll be many forces which will want that to happen. So let's see that. The stakes are the highest for Arvind Kejriwal in this election in Delhi.
Absolutely. And one last question, Nirja, before I wind up. How big, the issue of corruption, given the fact that liquor scam, the BJP had gone hammer and tongs on it, then they raised the Sheesh Mahal issue. Do you think corruption will really become an important issue, given the fact that Aam Aadmi Party came on the anti-corruption plank and now it is reduced to just like any other party, as you yourself said? So is corruption going to be an issue in the Delhi elections?
I don't know how much of an issue is going to be. Again, you talk randomly people. I had somebody tell me the other day, कौन करप्ट नहीं है? अच्छा, एक पॉलिसी में गलती हो गई तो गलती तो होती रहती है लोगों से, जो शासक है उससे गलती होती रहती है. It's a very interesting logic he was giving me. But he's a supporter, somebody, a poorer, not a very wealthy man, very ordinary person. He said, और पैसा अपने लिए तो नहीं बनाया ना, और पैसा नहीं बनाएंगे तो हम लोगों को देंगे कैसे जो दे रहे हैं. So he graduated from our one argument to another, which said it really doesn't matter. Everybody does it. And therefore, corruption is not what... the corruption argument may work with the middle class. Yeah, okay. No, I said talking to ordinary people, for them, or the poorer sections, corruption is not such an issue. Delivery is much more an issue. Credibility of Kejriwal to deliver is an issue for them. For the middle class, it may be an issue. The corruption part of it, Sheesh Mahal may be an issue. Anti-incumbency overall, yes, could be an issue. So difficult to say. Delhi may be very sharply divided in the way it responds to AAP and to BJP.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and watch how the campaign unfolds, which are the issues which resonate. But yes, it looks like a tough fight. And Arvind Kejriwal, for him especially, it looks like a high stakes election. Thank you so much, Neerja. As always, a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Stay ahead with our cutting edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.